Welcome to Xtreme One to Watch. We are here today with Danna Burnshaw, myself, Destiny Crane, and our guest for the day, Winter Guesman.
Thank you.
Yes, welcome, Winter, and we look forward to visiting with you. Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started barrel racing.
I got started barrel racing because my family owned ranches and feedlots back home in Idaho. And my cousins all barrel raced, everybody rodeoed, and yeah, I think it just kind of began there for the love of horses when I was really little.
Yes, and at what age did you start competing in barrel racing?
I want to say about 10, 11, yeah.
Great. Mm-hmm. Yes, little girl that always loves her horse, right?
Yep.
So what events, I know you've been a multi-discipline rider and have done many different events. Give us a little rundown of some of those.
My two passions are actually barrel racing and then reining cow horse. So I like to ride the reining cow horses and work cows a lot. I've done some other things, but I just keep going back and forth between those two, yeah.
What do you love about the reining cow horse, and what are the similarities between them and the barrel horses, or are there any?
I love the reining cow horses just because of, well, I like to go fast down the fence and turn.
Brave soul. That's a similarity.
Which is my favorite part. I love it. I always get yelled at by my trainers because they're like, when I'm doing circles, they're like, "You're going too fast." I'm like, "I'm barely loping." They're like, "You're not running barrels." I'm like, "Oh, sorry." So that's kind of funny. And doing the slide stops and turns and stuff. So yeah, pretty much all of it. And I guess the training, the physics of the horses and the training, there's so much training to go in both events, but I feel like with cow horse, like it's just you're like working your horse out of the herd, and then you're like asking them to do so many maneuvers, and so it's a lot of work, you know, it's a lot of work. But barrel racing has its challenges too, in the same aspect.
Yes. Do you feel the cow horse side of it has helped with your barrel racing training as well?
Yes, I feel like it's helped me with my hands and the understanding of the physical side of how horses work and connect. It's helped me to learn to understand, I guess, just how a horse moves and where they're moving, their hind end, their neck, and their feet, you know, so I can actually feel them underneath me.
I think you have a great and interesting career choice, and if you could tell us a little bit about that and how you got into what you do.
Okay, so like I said, my family back home in Idaho had feedlots, and so my job at the feedlot was to doctor all the sick animals. And so as a little girl, I used to actually read all the medicine labels and the ingredients and how they worked and why they worked. I'd sit there for hours reading that. And I just loved medicine. I loved working with our veterinarians. I loved to learn. And so then after that, I did dental for like 12 years, oral surgery and stuff. And then I kind of got bored with teeth. So I was like, do you know what? I need to do something more. And then I got into nursing.
Oh, that's wonderful. So late. I mean, you didn't come right out of school and then go in to get your nursing degree.
No.
You started what year? Do you remember?
I was 28.
Oh, amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's difficult to try to juggle everything and get through it.
Yeah, you know, I didn't really have a traditional schooling as it was. I never went to high school. I went and got myself my GED when I turned 18, and then put myself through dental assisting school, and then put myself through nursing school. So, but I think what really helped me is all the work I did on the feedlot with the veterinarian care and all that stuff and the understanding of medicine. I didn't go through any nonsense. I just had to learn, you know. So it's just kind of interesting way to learn things.
Sounds like you grew up quickly.
Yeah.
So do you want to share some of your childhood or how you had to grow up quickly?
I just mostly, I worked on the feedlot full time since I was 12 and broke horses, had some wild horses. Before, if something bucked or was a little wild, I was like, oh, this is fun. This is just my jam. Not anymore. I like them friendly.
Yeah, the old saying, age will do what religion never could.
Right.
It just kind of slows you down and straightens you into your path.
Yep. And I've had some really wonderful people help me learn, like a bunch of old cowboys that really taught me how to ride and how to be soft and how to feel, which I'm still learning. I feel like I just, I learn every time, every day. I feel like I learn something new. So I've been very blessed. Like some people might say, oh, she didn't get to go to high school and stuff. Not me. I look at it as like, oh my gosh, it was a blessing. I get to ride horses every single day since I was 12 years old and learn so much, especially from the veterinarians. I had some really wonderful veterinarians up in Idaho. I had the veterinarian that actually started MWI, which is a huge thing in our, life. And they taught me how to do C-sections on cows when I was 12 years old.
Amazing.
So I got to do a lot of cool things that most kids never got to learn.
Can't learn that in the classroom.
Exactly. Exactly.
And that's the thing, life, and I love ranch kids because they do have such a grip on reality that the things that they do can be life or death. Right in front of them when they're faced with it. You have to be quick on your feet and tough and gritty for sure.
And I think you just get a grip of understanding about life and the cycle of life a lot younger than you would normally.
Tell us what your biggest accomplishment is barrel racing.
I was in top of ICA, like the top 15 since I was like 14 till I was about 20, I think. So that was kind of fun. Let's see. I've won some stuff around for Nevada for the state for reining Cowhorse. And I qualified for the American this year up in Salina. That was fun. And I guess the other one is just trying to ride my mare. Yeah, she's interesting to ride. Yeah. She's one of the hardest ones I think I've ever trained and rode.
What makes her difficult?
So many things, but at the same time, the most difficult thing about her is a blessing. Isn't that how things work out?
Yeah.
She's super fast and snappy, but she came off the racetrack, and so she likes to run, and she knows how to run, which is awesome. But she sometimes she forgets to turn a little bit.
Well, I know that you're really good at turning disadvantages into advantages, and you've had several in your life that you've had to turn around. And I know, I'm just speaking, that your biggest challenge to overcome was losing your sweetheart Bill. So what happened with that? And maybe you can give our audience some awareness to, because you did a great cause based on the loss of your sweetheart and husband.
Yeah, he passed away August 3rd of 2019 from a heart attack. It's a little bit emotional for me.
Of course.
So I try not to cry, but yeah, that was really surprising. Really took us off guard because he went to his doctors. He was doing everything right, and if I would have known now to look back and do different tests for him, because it was the stress level as being a police officer that did not help. And so a lot of people don't understand that, like for first responders or people that are under stress and everything like that, they have more heart issues because of the fact of all the stress that they build up. And they can eat right, they can do everything right, they can take the medicine, they can, but they just need to decompress a little bit. And so Bill was on for 22 years, so that's a long time.
Yeah, and in Las Vegas, it's a high intense situation to be a police officer. And I know you were both in the tragic events that happened in Las Vegas as well. I mean, that share that day.
That was so crazy. I actually did, at the time, I didn't live that far away from that. And at the time, my husband, he was in at the gun range. And so that made him a full-time where he taught people how to shoot and everything and how to handle guns. And I was sitting on the couch we just got back from a barrel race. It was so funny. We just got back from a barrel race that night, and I ended up being on call, and I got back at 6, and I was on call at 6:30. I'm like, woohoo, I made it.
Oh, yeah. Slide inside.
I swear to goodness, that's how my whole life goes. I just like, I know from minute exactly where I'm going to be so I can juggle my schedule. It's so funny. Or my mom, which is Bill's mom, but I call her my mom. She's always like, you and your crazy schedule. I'm like, Mom, I got to do it if I'm going to live my life.
Right.
Yeah. And so it was funny because I'm sitting on the couch and they had that concert, and I looked at him and I said, that sounded like gunshots, because I could hear it from my house. He's like, it wasn't gunshots, this is fireworks, because it's too many in a row. Nobody has that big of a gun out. And then all of a sudden on Facebook, I saw, and I'm like, oh my God. And then my phone rang, and it was the house supervisor for Henderson Hospital. They're like, you need to get in now. I'm like, okay. So I started going there, and all these people started coming in the emergency room, like blood all over them, shots through their legs, different things. It was, I don't know, it was kind of surreal. It's like you're standing there and it feels like you're in a movie or something. It was just all this craziness happening. And I felt really bad, but I had a gentleman coming in, and he's just like, my wife is gone. He was in shock. And he's like, she died right in front of me. And I'm just like, you know, it's trying to calm people down, trying to like sew people up, trying to get bullets off of them, you know, out of them. And I probably went home about 5:30 that morning, washed all the blood off of me, went back in about 6:30, and then worked all day, worked all night, and came home and crashed.
Wow. So many people that have to step up and do extraordinary things in these very traumatic situations that you'll never forget. You never forget where you are and those kind of things, but you, Winter, were right in the middle of all of it. And I'm sure you helped save many lives and help comfort so many, because that's you and your personality, is just to get in and help and to do whatever you can in these tough situations.
Yeah, it was interesting, to say the least. But luckily we didn't lose anybody at Henderson. Everybody was treated really well, and we got everybody, you know, safe and secure and taken care of. So.
That's remarkable.
We're so appreciative of all of, to your point, the first responders on the front lines of all of these things, because we depend so much on their expertise and help. Mm-hmm. And it's a big thank you to all of you that really came to aid. And I know Las Vegas really pulled together as a community over that.
They really did. Yeah.
It really is that Vegas strong. You saw it all over, and I think they're still really unified because of that.
Yeah, I think so. And even now through the pandemic, with everything going on with COVID and stuff, it's been stressful for a lot of people. So.
Vegas was hit really hard because it depends so much on tourism and that.
It sure does. And our events.
Yes, and you are the nation central for eventing and big conferences. Mm-hmm. So yes, if you want to talk a little bit about that and how you've overcome those things.
Well, because I work in the OR, it's been interesting to see how COVID has impacted us. I mean, there for a while, because a lot of our supplies come from China, so we ran out of supplies. But so we had to go straight back to like only emergency surgeries, which, you know, a lot of people, hip implants replacements, knee replacements, hysterectomies, different things that everybody can get every day, now had to wait 6 months, you know, which made me feel made me feel bad, because people are walking around hurting or whatever's going on. But our hospitals did a really good job of, you know, keeping track of how much supplies we had just in case for emergencies. And I want to say they did a really good job of trying to manage like the outcome and when we get supplies back.
Yeah, we're so, if we've not learned anything on this, it's we're all connected.
Yep.
And we're all related to everyone else's circumstance.
Yes.
And if one is suffering and hurting, the rest of us are, and it really does make it difficult. You have been such an inspiration to so many. What would you go back and tell your 18-year-old self now that you have all of this wisdom in this cute little frame of Winter Guesman?
Probably not to worry so much. You know, I used to stress a lot. I used to stress about, am I doing the right thing? Am I making the right decisions? Am I, what's going to happen if this happens or that happens? And you know what? All that worrying doesn't do anybody any good. So you just got to try 100%. And then, if it's meant to be, it'll be. So I don't know. I just feel like, just keep on going, and it's your mind. You change your mind of how you look, the aspect of your mind. Like, I can look back and be like, oh, poor this, poor that. But you know what? Actually, everything that I've gone through has been an amazing learning lesson or amazing opportunity for me, And yeah, it's horrific that I lost Bill, but at the same time, I have to be thankful the fact that I had him for 13 years.
Oh, that's a really good way. I mean, that's one of many things I love about you. It's all about your attitude and you taking responsibility and not falling, as a victim. To your point, you could just go backwards and pull the covers over your head, but you've went out, you made a difference, you went and put into a positive charge for awareness, for officers. You you kept his name relevant by doing things that you could. And that's great advice. I often say, worry is a prayer for what you don't want.
Yep, exactly. And that if you keep thinking negatively, things are going to happen, I believe, negatively. So you have to look at the positive things and, okay, like, how can I look at this, like, for today? Like, for example, I hit a barrel, and I was like so sad because I actually rode right with my hands. I'm like, oh, thank God. But she turned and snapped back so hard, and I was like, oh, just one more step, please. Yeah. But I'm so thankful that I actually rode with my hands correctly, and she's turning so hard. When before she used to run by, I'm like, oh, see you later, barrel. I'm like, she's working.
Now she's listening.
Yeah, which is amazing.
And the timing is so crucial. It's like one stride, as you say, makes the difference of first and last and hitting a barrel. And
it really does, and especially when you're going that fast.
Oh, yes.
Like 15 seconds, 14 seconds, when you're going that fast, there's like one little bobble can change the whole outcome. Back home, they used to love to watch me because I was, like I said, I was on some wild horses. So either I was going to win the whole thing or else I was going to fall off, and it was going to be amazing thing to watch.
You were entertaining no matter what, right?
Always entertaining, always entertaining. Yeah, I remember one time I was running indoors up in Idaho, which John Rozier owns the arena now. And I had this horse named Flash, and he was so fast. He was amazing, but he was scary to ride because it's one of those horses that didn't care about the ground. He would just run, and you just hope that you came out on top of him when he got back. And he ran to the first, and I'm like, oh, awesome, first barrel. And then I forgot to really sit down hard for the second, so I whipped over the top of him, and my head was like down by his legs on the shoulder, and he's running down to the third barrel, and I don't know how in the heck I got up or anything, but I was cleared over, and right before the third barrel, I had just enough power to whip myself back up. He turned it and ran down and ducked after the timer, and I fell off and won the whole barrel race.
half on, half off, and then all the way off. That would be a good viral video. Now it's too bad that we don't have a live video of that show.
Yeah.
Well, we should get a photo or something of that. That would be great to show.
Oh, I have some photos of me being a spider monkey. Like last month in Colorado at the Team Fearless Finals, Jewel, she decided she'll go out there and run a perfect run, and then the next day she decided to run and she was going to the second barrel on the wrong side, and I'm like kicking her, and so she just means, oh, you think we should go faster? I'm like, I'm kicking her with my hands. I'm like, please get over, and the last second she goes, wham, like this. And I have pictures of it. I'm hanging on for dear God, coming around and stuff. She turns it. And I end up having one of the fastest runs up there. But it's just like, oh, thank God. And I swear to goodness, it's from all these horses from when I was younger, bucking me off and being crazy and wild.
Yeah, you're a trick rider. Right along with being a barrel racer,
Right.
you can ride the tricks.
Right.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Well, we love having you come to our extreme events. You're part of our extreme family. We think the world of you.
Thank you.
And we wish you nothing but the best life has to offer.
Thank you.
You've always dusted yourself off and got back up, and you've had a lot of knockdowns. So we really love and appreciate you, Winter, and we wish you nothing but the best.
Well, I appreciate you guys. You guys always have the best ground. When I heard you guys were coming down here, a lot of people were worried about this ground down here, but I was like, it's extreme. They'll make the ground perfect. It's fine. And truly, this ground, everybody's raved about your guys' ground here. It's been amazing. And you guys put on seriously the best races.
Oh, you're very
thank
kind. You know,
We always love to see your big smiling face, and you always brighten up the room or the arena when you walk
Thank you.
in.
I
And
appreciate that. But it's been, seriously, it's a blessing because there's not very many races that we can go around that is so close that we can run with so much money. And that's so nice because usually they're like in Texas or somewhere so far, and I'm just like, I would have to like not work. And it's awesome to run up in Utah and run down here now and other places that you have them.
Oh, thank you. We always want to have those big lifetime earnings to be able to up the earnings and makes your horse program a lot more valuable. If you can run for those kind of checks, then you put those bigger lifetime earnings behind your horse and your horse program. And so yes, it's a pleasure to always put these big events on in the West, and we look forward to what we can continue with all of you supporting it.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a game changer because back when I was younger trying to barrel race, it was amazing if we had like 1,500 to run at. And now we have all this money to run at. I'm like, woohoo!
Yes.
yes.
Over $1 million payouts at one race.
Right? How amazing is
It
that?
is. It's real, and in a 5D format, because when you are hanging off the side, sometimes you can't win the race.
And that's with Jewel. I love her very much. She's fast enough for me if I don't ride her correctly, which is probably about 80% of the time, and still working there. She still wins me a check usually in the 2D, which I'm lucky. I'm very blessed that she's that fast and athletic enough because that doesn't happen very often.
No.
It is. It does. It's kind of like those little extra bonus points and a consolation prize.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
You gotta love that.
And thank you for mentioning about Bill, my Heart Health for Heroes. That means a lot to me because I've been, since the pandemic, I kind of backed off of it, but starting this new year, I think I'm going to go out and hit it harder. It just was tough because trying to get all the police officers to see the doctors and the firefighters and first responders. But up to date, I've had about 20 guys that ended up getting stents and heart surgeries and different things that would have passed away if I wouldn't have forced them to go in and see the doctor.
So what recommendations can you give them for those watching at home that have first responders? What do they need to look for?
So they actually need to, because I know they have a yearly test for the police officers and firefighters, but they're not testing the correct tests. That's why Bill didn't know what was going on because he was 99% blocked on the left side. Yeah. And so they need to go to their heart doctors and ask for a calcium test and a couple different tests and tell them what they do for a job. And usually the heart doctors know exactly tests and they can see exactly if there's any blockage, any plaque or anything. And like I said, it's not necessarily a diet, it's a stress that we have in our life. And I don't know, I've been thinking about it a lot, but I'm trying to figure out some kind of program to help people de-stress, like first responders or something, trying to figure some way somehow, because that's what a lot of it is, you know.
And I think that's why we're so lucky as a barrel racing community. I really do believe that you do spike with adrenaline and different things, but you've got to find a way to decompress and whatever that is, looking forward to doing something else because we do build up so many different stresses in our life. And I know you'll go do more great things, and it has to feel really good to have saved lives, even if you had your sweetheart
Yes.
taken from this. At least you can help someone else's sweetheart still be there for them.
Exactly. And that's the thing, is Bill would want me to do that, because when he was training, he was always writing new policies, helping the guys out, saying, if I can just have some guy, if I helped him in some way and they could go home at nighttime because I helped them in their training, then I did my job. He's like, even one person. And so this is kind of a way for his legacy to live on.
Wow. And what a wonderful thing. He was very lucky to have you, and you were just such a dynamic duo, and it broke all of our hearts when that happened to you, because we know what a great team you both were. And we wish you all the best in the awareness and helping others to fix their issues so that they can have a long, happy, healthy life and not have it cut short.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
joining us today. And we look forward to seeing you back in the winner's circle with Xtreme as well, too.
Thank you, Destiny.
Yes.
Dana.
Yes.
And we'll see you next time on Xtreme One to Watch. Thanks for listening to Xtreme One to Watch. Please subscribe, leave a review, and tell your friends and family, and join us on our next episode of Xtreme One to Watch.